Hey everybody, it's Hyper. Welcome to another episode of Guns and Games, the series where I talk about the firearms and other weapons present in our video games and pop culture, with the hopes of bringing people closer to an understanding of how these weapons fit into our world in both a historical and practical capacity. And after all the real stuff is covered, I take a detailed look at the in-game mechanics and function of the weapon, and I train you how to use them like a pro. With how volatile domestic and global politics are these days, it is clear that we need this insight on firearms, weapons, and our rights, now more than ever. And at the end of the day, guns are just plain cool. So if you're here for just that part, kudos to you. In today's episode, we'll be talking about one of the most recent additions to the game SCUM. This is none other than the legendary RPG-7 recoilless rocket launcher. Let's set the foundation with some good old historical context. At the height of the Cold War, in the early 1960s, the Soviet Union faced a range of formidable threats from the West, particularly in terms of armor and industrial capability. Challenges to the Soviet Union's military supremacy and national security were great. During this period, the Western powers, which were led by the United States in NATO, presented a significant armor capability that loomed heavily on the Soviet Union's strategic preparedness. NATO as a whole built up a robust armored force, showcasing cutting-edge tanks and armored vehicles. The Soviets now had to contend with the likes of the M60 Patton tank, the Centurion, and the Chieftain, which were all known for their advanced technology, firepower, and mobility. Tanks like this posed a direct obstacle to the Soviet Union's defensive capabilities and required careful consideration in response. The West's industrial prowess was another cause for concern for the Soviet Union. While the Soviets had a large number of tanks, such as the renowned T-55 and T-62 tanks, showcasing advanced features such as composite armor and improved firepower, the United States simply possessed technology that was more advanced and had established a more superior industrial base. This enabled the US to produce a vast array of sophisticated weaponry in significant numbers. The Soviet Union was well aware that it needed to at least match the West's industrial capabilities if it wanted to maintain its competitive edge and turn back this imbalance in power. Because of this growing concern, the USSR embarked on extensive industrial expansion, establishing massive manufacturing complexes and production facilities, with a strategic focus aimed at advancing the Soviet Union's capability to rapidly produce military equipment. To address these challenges head-on, the Soviet Union embarked on an ambitious military modernization program. It placed considerable emphasis on research and development to create its own cutting-edge armored vehicles, and new weapons like the SVD weapon system and the RPG-7 launcher systems, as well as many other armaments that quickly became legendary tools of war. Although many challenges still remained after this unprecedented progress, based on the initial goals of these efforts, these programs are seen as having been extremely successful. The wide use in modern day of weapons from this era is irrefutable testament to that. Now that we have covered the contextual background, we can move on to the primary focus of this video, the RPG-7 family of launchers. Let's check it out. The RPG-7 is a man-portable, recoilless launcher system, typically operated by a small team, but can easily and effectively be used by a single fighter, thanks to its simple open tube and muzzle-loading system. The RPG-7 is known for its straightforward design and ease of use. It is a relatively simple weapon that can be operated with minimal training. Its robust construction and reliability in various environments make it attractive to military forces and armed groups all over the world, especially those with limited resources and training capability. Despite being over 6 decades old, the RPG-7 continues to be used by various military forces and non-state actors. It is so popular after all these years because it is rugged, cheap, reliable, and has a wide variety of rounds it can use for almost any purpose. Not to mention, so many were produced by the Soviet Union, they can be found everywhere. It also has a massive presence in pop culture, like our movies, television, and especially our video games. For the specific history of the RPG-7, we can look at its development. The RPG-7 was developed by the Soviet Union in the late 1950s as a successor to the RPG-2 anti-tank launcher, which was the first successful launcher of its kind after the failed RPG-1. Compared to its predecessor, the RPG-2, it had a much longer effective range, as it had an in-flight booster rocket and better stabilization thanks to its deployable fins. It was designed by Soviet engineering firm Basalt under a request for a launcher to counter newer NATO armor, with the first prototype being introduced in 1961. The initial goal was to create a portable and effective weapon capable of engaging armored vehicles, but this quickly expanded as the Soviet military grew fond of the platform, especially when it came to adaptability and cost. Rather than using multiple launchers for every situation or target type, to save money, time, and training, the idea was to develop one launcher that fired several different ammunition types, which were purpose-built for specific tasks. The RPG-7 had many flavors of rockets, including high-explosive anti-tank or heat rounds, and blast fragmentation rounds, which are the PG-7M and OG-7V respectively. It also had many more, ranging from bunker busting to even thermobaric warheads for enclosed and urban environments. And no, unlike the mass media wants you to believe, vacuum bombs, as they call them, are not a banned weapon of war, and employing thermobaric weapons is not considered a war crime. In fact, many people consider them to be much more humane ways to wage war than plenty of alternative weapons out there. The RPG-7's ability to fire different types of ammunition adds to its value on the battlefield. This flexibility allows users to engage a wide range of targets, including armored vehicles, fortified positions, and personnel alike. But that's just a short list, and to be honest, it's effective against any vehicle it can attain a hit on. It has a well-designed optic known as the PG-07, used for range estimation and better target acquisition out to the launcher's extended ranges, which aren't very far to be honest. Its high-explosive anti-tank or heat rounds can defeat heavy armor utilizing explosively formed penetrator warheads, making them a great threat to tanks. Over the years, several improvements and modifications have been made to the RPG-7 and its ammunition to enhance its effectiveness and versatility. Modern RPG-7 rounds, like the PG-7VR, can even penetrate as far as 600mm or 2 feet into explosive reactive armor, or up to 750mm over 2.5 feet into standard rolled steel armor. Because of this, the RPG-7 has been employed by numerous countries and armed groups around the world, becoming most widely used rocket launcher of all time. It saw significant use during the Cold War, particularly in conflicts where Soviet-backed forces were involved. Its first recorded use in combat was by Egypt during the Six Days War in 1967, with its first use against NATO armor later in 1968 by the North Vietnamese during the Vietnam War. The RPG-7 gained prominence in various regional conflicts, insurgencies, and guerrilla wars due to its effectiveness against armored vehicles and fortifications. These conflicts included the Afghan-Soviet War, various smaller Middle East skirmishes, and the more recent conflicts in Iraq and Syria. Other conflicts that saw its use extensively were the First and Second Chechen Wars, and it was even employed by the Irish Republican Army against British Army observation posts in light armor from 1969 to onward. The RPG-7's simplicity, reliability, and low cost have contributed to its popularity and widespread use. In modern day, it is still being used all over the world, and has seen extensive action by both sides of the current war in Ukraine. This proven track record has earned the RPG-7 much respect, and it has established an enduring legacy. With so many military forces and armed groups familiar with its operation, there is a massive pool of experience in maintaining and employing the weapon. This legacy and familiarity have contributed to its continued popularity and usage generation after generation of fighters, in both modern militaries and ragtag militias alike. Its affordability makes it accessible to a wide range of military forces, insurgent groups, and paramilitary organizations, again, particularly in regions where resources are limited. Since the RPG-7 has been widely exported and manufactured by various entities, it has seen wide availability in black markets. In fact, it has such a prominent presence on black markets that the purchase and sale of the RPG-7 can be an accurate predictor of whether a region is about to engage in a major conflict or even a war. And this is the case for some very good reasons. Its portability allows for easy transportation and concealment, while its firepower provides an effective means to engage better equipped enemy forces in asymmetrical warfare scenarios. All of these reasons make the RPG particularly suitable to guerrilla warfare and insurgencies. Some countries have also developed their own versions of the RPG-7 or similar rocket launchers based on its design, like China, Bulgaria, Iran, and Romania, all manufacturing their own design of RPG-7 rockets domestically. There is even a United States domestically produced RPG-7 variant called the Precision Shoulder-Fired Rocket Launcher 1, made by Airtronic USA. It is a modernized version of the launcher, with a Picatinny quad rail, enhanced ergonomics, and compatibility with some AR-15 style furniture. This launcher is completely compatible with the entire suite of RPG-7 rockets, but its moneymaker is its proprietary ammunition that has greatly increased the accuracy and range of the standard 40mm rocket system. It is said to have a hit probability of up to 90% at 800 meters, compared to standard RPG-7 munitions, which have a hit probability of only 51% at 200 meters and less than 10% at distances greater than 400. Pretty big upgrade if you ask me. What can I say, commies? Anything you can do, we can do better. See, now that we're at the shooting range, I can show you how it functions. So there's nothing really special about the RPG in the game. I mean, it's cool. It's a rocket launcher. It's one of two in the game, so it's pretty significant, right? But when it comes to the actual function of it, it's pretty simple. You can adjust the range. It's 0, it's elevation, by holding shift and then scroll wheel, and that's about it. It has very primitive range estimation, right? So at 100 yards, the height of a average person will be the height of the front sight post right in the center. You can see that in the very tip of the head. If you line that up, it's the exact height of the person. So you can kind of range estimate using that. If it's larger than that post, then they're closer than 100 meters. If they're smaller, then they're further 100 meters. And incrementally based off of if it's 2 times as far away as 100 meters, it's going to be half the size of the post. Get it? So that's 200 meters. It's about half the size of the post. But that's pretty primitive. It's not super reliable. I recommend just having a sniper scope on you guys at all times, so you have a better way of determining how you're aiming. Now, you're going to notice that this drops like a rock. Again, it's a fairly large rocket being propelled by a fairly weak propellant. So in the real world, they drop like rocks, like I said. So the max range is like 400, and that's pushing it. Like, that's really far into the max range. So I'd say let's go to like the mid range of this rock, which is about 200 meters, so I can show you what it's like. Now you're going to see I'll aim center mass with the very tip of the post, because that's what most people are going to want to do when they fire this. So I'm aiming 200 meters. You can see on the camera right there where I'm aiming. Let's go for center mass 200. Fire. You can see I was centered at oh no, I was centered at 100. What am I doing? All right, blooper guys, sorry, my bad. I had it set to 100 meters. I fired at 200 meters. My bad. Let's try again. But anyways, as I was saying, most people are going to want to aim with the top of the front sight post like they would with other guns, so we're going to try that. Let's see, as soon as it gets on there, we'll fire. Come on, give it. Now if you're aiming center mass with the top of the front sight post, I'll show you what happens. Come on. Dip down. I hate the way aiming works in SCUM. I really do. They need to fix this crap. Alright, come on. Line up right there. There we go. You can see you aim with the top, you're going to shoot short. You can see that hit probably about 2.5 meters in front of the target. So what you want to do is you're going to notice on the front sight post, there are these little grooves. It's kind of hard to see, but they're definitely there. You want to aim using those grooves as far as elevation goes. They're kind of hard to see, but if I put it, I'll put up a screenshot right about here so you guys can see the grooves I'm talking about. Anyways, you want to aim with those grooves. So the height of if your target's over there and you want to hit like center mass on the target, you want to put the height of those grooves at center mass on your target. So we're going to do that with this target right here, and we're going to fire. And you can see hits the center of the target at 200 meters when we're at range for 200 meters. And that rings true for every single distance you fire this thing at. Again, like I said, you're not going to be super accurate with this in real life. The RPG-7 is not a very accurate thing. It's supposed to be a reasonably close range as far as launchers go. Again, like 50 to 400 meters at the most, really, honestly. That's where this is going to be effective, and it ranges in the game. But in the game, you have multiple rounds. You have the PG-7M, which is this one. This is the one with the big bulb at the front, and that's the anti-armor one. It's got that shape charge. Again, I would say this is the only round you should be using in SCUM. The other one is the 7V. The OG 7V.
and that one's for anti-personnel. It's got blast and frag. I mean, you can tell the difference when you're shooting at a mech. I noticed the big black mechs will take 8 of these 7M rockets, and man, I stopped counting at like 23 rockets for the 7V, so they really don't do any damage to the other mechs. So I would recommend just use these in general, because these are just as good as the 7Vs at anti-personnel. You might save a little bit of money buying the 7Vs, but there's kind of like no point, because why would you limit yourself in that point? Just buy the 7Ms. 7Vs are kind of useless. I mean, if this one does both purposes, just stick with it, because it's not that much more expensive. But yeah, you can find the RPGs in a lot of places, right? I found this one in the B2 bunker. Just fixed it up, but we've been finding a ton in really bunkers and military POIs. We found another one in the airfield, which is crazy because this is a lot more common than I thought it would be. I found the rocket and the ammo at the same time, and we have vanilla loot settings. At the time we boosted them recently, but I have never naturally found the HSV grenade launcher, but I have found this within like the first few days of it coming out. I found 2 of these since it came out, and I have found not one M82, and I have not found one of the grenade launchers ever since that came out like a couple updates ago. But yeah, it's still really awesome, guys. It does a ton of damage. It'll mess up a car, it'll mess up people in one hit. It does have decent range. When we were talking about video games, 400 meters in a video game is a lot farther than 400 meters in real life, and it's decently accurate. I know I said it's not, but let's try it out. Let me put it at the max range, and let's just take a quick shot over here at the 400 meter sign. Let's see if we hit it. We should. You can see it just lobs way the hell over there. Hit just behind it, but yeah, it's fairly accurate. I think I set it to 500 meters instead of 4, but it works. You guys just, I would recommend keep a sniper rifle on you. Keep something like the Hunter, or not the Hunter scope, but the Dragunov scope or the ACOG scope, and it won't do you any wrong, right? I would actually recommend using the, the hollow sight. The H3 hollow sight would actually do pretty good for this, because this goes to the pretty much the max effective range as that, so you could watch that video and be able to use the RPG with that alongside. So let's aim 400 meters away using that. Let's see, we should be able to hit that big concrete sign from here, I hope. It sounds decently accurate. Yeah, I didn't see where that impact was. That was really loud though. Very interesting. You could see my my wife's alternate account that we use to do the videos and stuff recording over there. Her mechs, or not her mech, but her sentries over there, so you can see that. Oh, that's why it's not hitting. Guys, I'm stupid. Again, range it to 400. Of course I'm gonna overshoot it. But yeah, it's pretty simple, straightforward, easy to use. It's durable. I think you can get, I think, yeah, at the very top of the sign. Let's see, 40%, and I fired what? Like, probably 7 or 8 rockets. So yeah, I think it loses like 6 to 8 durability percentage-wise every time you fire a rocket. So it lasts a pretty long time when you think about what it is. It does a ton of damage to bases, vehicles, mechs, all that good stuff. So I recommend it. Pick it up, the RPG. Keep it, guys. This is good stuff. It's a ton of fun to use. Ton of fun. Super realistic. It's just a great time. Anyways, I hope you guys liked the rest of the video. If you have any other questions, go ahead and let me know in the comments, and I'll try and clarify them there. If you guys have any recommendations of videos you want to see me do in the future, or weapons you want me to cover in the future, or anything like that, different video games, I'd love all the feedback. What I'm doing good, what I'm doing bad, what I could do better, all that stuff. Again, I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing it as a hobby. I enjoy doing it. Maybe in the future I can get paid to do it. We'll see. Who knows? Anyways, I got some merch coming up in the future, so stay tuned for that. If you guys were some of my subscribers and loyal community members in the past, you guys already got some free stuff coming your way. I'm excited about it. And yeah, just join us for our events. We're going to start doing weekly events again. We're going to bring the server back into the public sphere, because it is completely working now. It is open to the public. As you can see, the bot was talking while I was recording, which is really cool. We have a lottery. We have a lot of cool stuff. It's vanilla. We've got a faction war going on. It's a ton of fun, guys. I recommend joining us. Actually, Mumba's recruiting for it right now, so check his page out, his videos, to see what he's been up to. He needs to recruit an army to push back against us, because we're kind of taking over the whole map at this point. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you like content like this in the future, and I hope you guys realize the significance of it. You saw the beginning of the video, and I'm going to put out a lot more like this. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in the next video, and I will see you then.